श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्। சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
So in the last session, yesterday's session, we did not see the quote from Nammalvar's Thiruvaimozhi, which supports the Abhaya Pradana Saram concept of Sri Vedanta Deshika. Of course, Sri Vedanta Deshika's elucidation of or delineation of this concept is only ancient. It is not his own, as he doesn't claim also that it is his own. It's all embedded in the sciences of scriptures, and therefore it's only an elaboration by an epic episode that we understand the main concept called Sharanagati, or you can say in a way Abhaya Pradana. Sharanagati is what we do. Abhaya Pradanam is what the protector does. And therefore, so we understand. And again, I wanted to tell you one more point which we had to deduce from yesterday's session is this, namely, so we are all reading about the story of Ramayana, the incidents in the epic and so on, but nevertheless, we have to apply it to our daily life here. And that is more important than reading the Ramayana, understanding the attitudes of the characters in the Ramayana and so on. So we must be Vibhishana and we must not emulate Ravana. This is also with regard to even within the incarnations of Lord Sriman Narayana, namely, we must follow Rama, we must only hear the advice of Lord Krishna. Ramadivat Vartitavyam. We behave like Rama, but Krishnasya Upadeshaha Kartavya. But the advice of Krishna must be followed. You cannot imitate Lord Krishna in all his what they call exploits, adventures, miracles, rather which we misunderstand as wrongdoings and so on. Krishna is an almighty who cannot be found fault with. We cannot blame him for anything. And because we blame him because we don't understand him fully. And it is not very easy to understand him also. Inscrutable are the ways of God. You cannot scrutinize why he did it like that or why he does it like this. Now again, so with regard to these characters, Vibhishana and Ravana, Vibhishana is in character opposed to Ravana, though they are the blood brothers. And Ravana is destined by the curse to be born as a demon on earth, of course, for 3 lives. So earlier we say Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and then we have Ravana and Kumbhakarna here. In the next birth, while Krishna incarnates, there you have Dantavaktra and Shishupala. Because we don't hear much about Dantavaktra, but we are hearing much about Shishupala. And therefore, so here in these 3 lives, by which the home gods, you can say, Jaya and Vijaya, asked for redemption from the curse. They said we must remember the Lord 24/7. That was the rather amendment to the curse which was sought by these two policemen, rather security guards. So here, so Vibhishana must be followed. That means we must not expect anything from and out of Sharanagati, our total surrender to God. Number two, so we must not be a Duratma as it is mentioned in the last page text, that so Ravana was a Duratma, so we must not be a wicked soul. We must not be a bad character of bad character. That is by thinking, a wrong thinking, that we are the greatest protectors. Now, in an example where we are approached by somebody in our life for help, and perhaps we say a person totally surrenders to our feet in order to get some shelter, refuge, protection, help, and so on. We are not to think of ourselves as the highest protector. Of course, we can always transfer the responsibility of protection to the Lord, just as any acharya will do, any preceptor will do. And therefore, so that is the point that we must try to understand from the previous page. So because we are reading about the characters, both Vibhishana and Ravana, and we also hear about the opinions of monkeys which are against the acceptance of Vibhishana. That is also there. So when we do Sharanagati, when we do total surrender, then there are people who will stop us from doing, who will give impediments to that process, who will give obstacles. There will be obstacles for the doing Sharanagati. And therefore, here that is the essence of Abhaya Pradana Saram as per the mind of thoughts of Sri Vedanta Deshika. Now we go to 132 Thiruvaimozhi. எளிவரும் இயல்பினன் நிலைவரும் பில பல பிறப்பாய் வரம்பில பல பிறப்பாய் ஒளிவரு முழுநலம் முதலில் கேடில வீடாம் தெளிதரும் நிலைமைய தொழிவிலன் முழுவதும் இறையோன் அழிவரும் அருளினோடு அகத்தனன் புறத்தனன் அமைந்தே. Very difficult to read sometimes, even Tamil. It contains what we call the, as we say in Tamil, chandam, the Tamil osai, the sound of Tamil words. They are resonant, they are repetitive, and therefore they have alliteration. And the essence is, as I think Mohan Parsadi Swami can read this, Nilai Varambu ila Palapirappai.
நிலை வரம்பு இல பல பிறப்பாய், ஒரு நிலையும் ஒரு நேதியும் இல்லாத பலவகை பிறப்பு உடையவனாய், முதல் இல கேடு இல முழு நலம், முதலும் இல்லாமல் முடிவும் இல்லாமல் இருக்கின்ற கல்யாண குணங்கள் எல்லாம் ஒளிவரும் ஒளி மல்கும்படியான ஒளி வரும் என்றால் ஒளி மல்கும்படியான எளிவரும் இயல்பினன் சௌலபியத்தையே இயல்பு உடையவனாய் வீடு ஆம் தெளித்தரு நிலைமை அது முழுவதும் மோட்சமாகின்ற தெளிவை தருதலாகிற அந்த நிலைமையை முழுவதும் ஒழிவு இளம் எப்போதும் உடையவனான இறையோன் சுவாமியானவன் அழிவரும் அருளினோடு அமைந்து அளித்த கிருபையோடு கூடிய அகத்தனன் அடியவர்க்கு அந்தரங்கனாய் புறந்தனன் மற்றவர்க்கு அணுகத்தகாதவனாய் இருப்பவன்.
Thank you. Swami Kesavadas Swami.
Heedless of places and context, he appears in countless forms. His radiant fullness is beginningless and endless, forever providing the ambrosial experience of liberation. He exists with cool grace within and without.
Thank you so much. Dhanyavadaha. Let us see the word by word meaning also again, because it's very interesting. So yes. So now I translate into English. So there is no condition of space, time, and or anything else. So there is no condition of space. There is no restriction of space or time. In any status, Lord can take incarnation, and sometimes he shows himself as an ordinary human being born to a mother, Kausalya, in the incarnation of Sri Rama. And in case of the incarnation as Lord Krishna also, Devaki, the lady, was aspiring to beget the child, rather give birth to the child. Being the Lord must be her child. That was a request. So in 3 births she requested, along with her husband Vasudeva. So in the previous 2 births also, she requested that Lord should be born to her, and therefore it was just like an ordinary child, but there was much miracle attached to the birth of Lord Krishna, being the 8th child and so on. But in the case of a birth, to say, or incarnation of the Lord in any form, there is no condition, restriction on his form. And therefore, he was born as, he appeared as fish, then tortoise, and so on. You have so many incarnations. And as the English part of it said, he is beginningless and he is endless. And what is the endlessness or what is the beginninglessness is the endlessness of the auspicious qualities of the Lord. And those auspicious qualities never diminish. That's the meaning of this particular verse. So, and every good quality is complete in itself. We don't have any what we call deficiency in these auspicious qualities. And they are also beginningless. Then why should he take so many incarnations? The answer is given as Oli Malhum Badiyan, meaning his effulgence, his brightness, his greatness, his fame increases by every incarnation. Increases in the sense it is understood more by us. That's the meaning. It's not a question of increasing the greatness then and there, but we understand more and more the greatness of the Lord by many incarnations rather by 1 or 2. And of course, we take Rama and Krishna only as popular. And of course, one more, Varaha being the important incarnation, having Charama Shloka. So the 3 incarnations have Charama Shlokas and so on. And you understand that the greatest quality, auspicious quality in the Lord is Saulabhyam, easy accessibility. And that's what we saw in the earlier session today, while we read Sharanagati Gadyam. The word Sheela was mentioned there, and Mohan Parsadi Swami was asking specifically what would be the meaning of Sheela. Sheela is both Saulabhyam and Saushilyam. Saulabhyam is easy accessibility, and Saushilyam is non-differentiation of status to move with. So the greatness increases. And when we take up here the practical view, yesterday we had gold kite vehicle, Tanga Garuda Vahanam in Srirangam, which went across our residence. That's what we call Saulabhyam, easy accessibility. So even if the temple is nearby, Lord comes and gives darshan to everyone wherever they are. So that is called Saulabhyam, easy accessibility. So his natural quality is Saulabhyam. So Saulabhyatiye iyalbaha udayavanai. Now, in our case, we may be accessible and we may not be accessible. We may be accessible because we like it. We may not be accessible because we dislike it, and so on. So there are likes and dislikes, whereas Lord has no likes and dislikes specifically. And then among the four purposes of human life, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, we are sure to get moksha, emancipation, liberation from the birth and death cycle, freedom from being born again. That is very important. And if you want to get the beatitude, you have to apply to only Lord Sriman Narayana and not to anybody else. And therefore, moksham ichet janardanaha. We can't get moksham from others. The problem is the advantage of worshipping other gods will be we can get what we call a gem called Chintamani, what you call you would have heard about Alauddin's wonderful lamp. So a lamp which touchstone. Yeah, touchstone is actually the testing stone for the gold metal, the quality of the gold metal, but here we are talking about the Chintamani is a gem for thought. Another word, which you can imagine and get is Kalpaka Vriksha, the divine wish-yielding tree. And then you have Parijata, it's called Parijata, otherwise we now see here in our gardens that there's a tree called Parijata, white flower with stem, red stem. And we say it's a Parijata flower. So Parijata is the name of another name for Kalpaka Vriksha. And you have Kamadhenu. We have heard of Kamadhenu, a cow which fulfills our desires and so on. But all these three, namely Chintamani or Kalpaka Vriksha or Kamadhenu, will not be able to give us the moksha. That is evident from Tirupanalvar's Amalanadi Piran and wishing well, right? And Vedanta Deshika mentions it in Bhagavad Dhyana Sopanam in his Stotram as a transcreation of Tirupanalvar's Amalanadi Piran, just 10 songs. So he has given a Kapapi description, foot to head. Padadi Keshanta Stotram. That was given to Ranganatha. And therefore, Olivu Ilan. Now we have two, what we call two-side agreements. So the devotee must spend his time all the time by praying, number one. The Lord has no respite, no time for taking rest, and he will take care of us all the time. So Orivil Kalamellam Udanai Manni. That is the expression of Nammalvar. So there is no time allotted for his rest, though he is supposed to recline on the serpent bed, making what we call Yoga Nidra, the fiend sleep. So he is not sleeping over our problems. Therefore, ஒழிவு இல்லன். He has no time for rest. எப்போதும் உடையவனார். So he is the master, he is the only master, he is the highest master, he is the Almighty, and he is very graceful, very sympathetic. And therefore, what happens is, he comes into the minds of the devotees and become the closest friend, whereas for others he is enemy. So this is what we understand in Ramayana also. Vibhishana becomes the closest friend and Ravana becomes the staunch enemy. So that is the meaning here. And of course, the scriptural sentence, Antar Bahischa Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha, is also understood by the Ahattanan Purattanan. He is also inside us and he is also outside us. That means everywhere, present everywhere. Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha. He is Lord Vishnu, he is Lord Vishwam. He pervades the whole universe, all creations. So either Nitya Vibhuti or Leela Vibhuti, both of them are pervaded by the Lord. So everywhere he is present. So we are not able to recognize his presence. That's a problem with us. Now over to the next page that we have. I wish we have more time to go through Prativadi Bhayangaram Annangaracharya's explanation of this Nammalvar Thiruvaimozhi, but still. So let's go to page 68. So we saw these two words juxtaposed with each other. Raghavaya, Mahatmane. So please note, you can copy it, Swami. So this is where you get the archive.org. Keshavdas Swami is so shrewd that he will bring from any source the explanation. Mahatmane. So we were talking about the two opposite qualities of anybody, of course, namely Raghavaya refers to the particular king in the solar race who is always helpful to the gods. Any king of solar race is helpful to the gods. And therefore Raghava, right, okay, thank you. He has posted in WhatsApp group and Mohan Parsaldik and Swami and accessed the link. So the opposite quality is Mahatmane. He is a great personality, the greatest God, and therefore, so Raghava, namely Rama, has been understood clearly by Vibhishana that he can give shelter against Ravana. At the same time, he is also fit to be surrendered to, and therefore Mahatmane. Now, can we describe the greatness of Rama, this Almighty? No, that is what it says. The Tamil sentence says, Kadalai kayitti raitu mudiya onnada pole. Can we use our hands, say both hands, to take the water of the ocean, take any ocean presently available to us. Suppose we try to use both our hands to take the water, shift the water of the ocean to some other place. How much time will we take? How long will we take to shift the water from just by our both hands? So that will be impossible task. And that is a comparison to understand how we can understand the greatness of the Lord. So kadalai kayitti raitu mudiya onnada pole, since it is endless to do shifting of the water by both hands, the water of the ocean to some other place. Visheshittu cholli mudiya onnadu. We can always add many adjectives. All adjectives will not become complete immahatmyam, this greatness. So Vibhishana, we are now referring to the particular episode, only one episode, namely Vibhishana Sharanagati. Of course, that is its allied aspects also, and therefore, so even a single episode is indescribably great. So this greatness of acceptance of Vibhishana, the demon, good demon, from Sri Lanka, the opponent's side, is indescribably great. So Perumal, Ashrita Rakshanatil Urupattal. Now, once the Almighty, Perumal, he refers to Rama here. So Ashrita Rakshanatil, when he has decided to protect the devotee, Rakshanam, protection, Ashrita is devotee, surrender, one who surrenders. Ashrita Rakshanatil Urupattal, when he has decided, so Sankalpam we say in Sanskrit, Sankalpaha. When he has decided to protect the devotee, then Adityan Parapattal Iruttu Pin Kana Onnada Pole. So in the morning, as soon as you see the rising sun, the entire darkness of the world is gone. It is not to mention that because of Aditya, the darkness is gone. Because of the sun, the darkness is gone. It's very natural. It's very natural that darkness will get disappeared. And there is no clear line of demarcation from brightness to darkness. And as the brightness comes, darkness goes off. So it disappears. So Adityan Purapattal, when the sun rises, Iruttu Pin Kana Onnada Pole. So the darkness disappears. So Varattale Poon Katti Vaikira. Now the problem with demons is, rather not problem with demons, problem with us is, the demons perform a lot of penance. The demons, rather the bad demons are bad generally. There are wicked demons, very bad demons, worst demons. So worst demon is Ravana. And they all perform penance, very serious penance. Because they are demons, they are able to do serious penance. They are able to follow severe penance, which ordinary people cannot do. Men, the human beings cannot do. And therefore, what they do is, they appeal to Lord Creator, Lord Shiva, and so on. They get a lot of boons. And therefore, they get more powerful than others. So, Varattale Poon Katti Vaikira. So, they have a what we call security ring around them by their boons. So, you know the beauty of the boon that Hiranyakashipu asked Lord Brahma. Of course, one boon which he was asking was refused by Brahma, fortunately. So he said, I must not die. So that could not be given according to Brahma himself. And therefore, he said, giving all kinds of options, Hiranyakashipu said, no creation so far must kill me. No creation so far must kill me. Therefore, without the knowledge of Brahma, Lord Sriman Narayana had to take a form called Lakshmi Narasimha. So Brahma never expected that such a creation would emerge out of a pillar in the palace of a demon called Hiranyakashipu. And so what do they do with the powers of the boons that they got? Bahumukha Rakshasari. So they have got a lot of faces, in the sense, lot of powers. They can attack good people, ordinary people, especially sages and ordinary human beings very easily. So they will be what you call make a multi-pronged attack. So that is what we say, Bahumukha Rakshasarayam. Munkana onnadabadi irukkum imahatmya. So as soon as Rama comes to fight with, rather Almighty makes a decision to fight with the evils of the demons, then they will run away helter-skelter. They will be disappearing so soon. Munkana onnadabadi. They will not be able to appear before Rama, rather the God. So Immahatmyam, this is the greatness. So the Lord is so powerful that the power of the boons that demons got from other gods will be insignificant, will be what we call a blade of grass. And therefore, Iv Avatara Dasayilundana, Niratishya Mahatmyatai. Now, in this particular context of this Ramayana, as incarnation of Rama, Niratishe Mahatmyam. So wonderful. It's even beyond wonder. We cannot even imagine the wonder. We can see the wonder, but we cannot even imagine the wonder. So Niratishe Mahatmyate, the greatness which is beyond our imaginative power. Paradara Darshana Paramukharana Perumal. So this is the essential quality of Rama in Ramayana, namely coveting another's wife by even just looking at them. So Paradara Darshana. Even by thought, Rama did not think of any other's wife. Para, another, Dara, wife, Darshana, seeing, Paramukharana, indifferent. Rama was indifferent to look at any other's wife. In fact, when Shurpanaka came, a demoness came in the form of a beautiful lady, appeared before Rama and Lakshmana. And Rama said, "Oh Lakshmana, you just take care. Before doing harm to Sita, you just drive her away. That's all." So here, Rama was not even looking at another's wife, meaning that he is not doing any harm to any other's wife. So Perumal Thirumunbe Nindru, when somebody has got guts to stand before such a Lord, Katanchit aham agataha. Now, this is a statement of Ravana. So when you ask the question to Ravana, how could you stand before Rama? How could you withstand Rama's personality? So Katanchit aham agataha. I came somehow. Somehow in Sanskrit means with great difficulty. So when how Ravana abducted Sita, we don't say kidnapped. So he abducted Sita. He came in the form of a sannyasi, a mendicant, a monk, a recluse, so a yati. So in that way, he came there. So Katanchit aham agatam. Then on the way, while he was carrying Sita, Jatayu also fought for Sita, and he could win over him, win over the bird. Ravana could win over the bird, and fatally wounded the bird, Jatayu, and therefore என்கிறபடியே பெண்ணுடை உடுத்து உருமாற்றி நான் ஒருவனும் தப்பி போந்தேன் என்று ராவணனுக்கு ஜனஸ்தான விற்த்தாந்தத்தை சொன்ன அகம்பனன் வாக்கியத்தாலே மகரிஷி வெளியிட்டான். மகரிஷி இஸ் வால்மீகி. Valmiki, the author of Ramayana, revealed the secret that at that time, while Rama and Sita and Lakshmana were living in the forest, Akampana, an assistant of Ravana, a demon in the race of Ravana, he took a female form. Pennudai uduthu. He took a female form. He became a lady. Urumatri. And then Nan Uruvanum Tappi Ponde. He escaped from the hands of Rama. Otherwise, he would have been killed by Rama there itself. என்று ராவணனுக்கு ஜனஸ்தான விற்த்தாந்தத்தை, it was the place called Janasthana where Rama, Lakshmana and Sita lived in the forest. So he came and conveyed to Ravana that instead of showing his true form as a demon, he converted himself as a lady and then escaped the hands of wrath of Rama. Akampannan Vakyatale Maharishi Veliyittan. So Aranyakandam 31 to 31st Sarga, second verse says, Kathanchita aham agataha. So Akampana said, with great difficulty I escaped from Rama. So this is the position of now the point here to be understood from Nammalvar's quotation from Thiruvaimozhi 132. So we say the last two, Ahattanan, Porattanan. So for the devotee, Lord is the best friend. For the enemy, he is the worst attacker. So Antaranganai. So if he is a friend, that's what he said in Ramavatara in Charama Shloka. Sakradeva Prapannaya Tava Asmi Iticha Yachate. It is enough if you say that I belong to you, and then he will be accepting us into his fold. Whereas if we oppose him, then he will only punish us. Again, so it's very difficult to escape from the hands of Rama once we face him as an enemy. And therefore, there is no other way except to do surrender, total surrender. So that is the suggestion given by Vedanta Deshika from the episodes of Rama. So there is no other way, method, strategy to apply. Let us go to page 69. This is Sanskrit Tamil version, Tamil transliteration plus Sanskrit. So let us read the Sanskrit version. Asadhyaha kupito ramo vikramena mahayashaha apagayaha supurnayaha vegam parihare sharaihi. Satara graha nakshatram nabhascha api avasadayet. Asau Ramaha tu Sidantin Shriman Abhyudharet Mahim Bhitva Velam Samudrasya Lokan Aplavayet Iman. So this shows the extreme limit of prowess of Rama. How Rama was powerful. These words explain. Rama will not get angry easily. He is not ill-tempered like a sage called Durvasa. He is not a short-tempered man. But Once he becomes angry, then he will go to the extreme fury. Asadhyaha kupitaha Rama. Though Rama is known for his absence of anger, there is no anger in him available. But once he is insulted, rather not once he is insulted, his devotee is insulted, he will get furious. So asadhyaha kupitaha, asadhyaha. So when his anger is not controllable, then kupitaha Ramaha, angry Rama, Vikramena by his power. So what will he do? So these are the other 4 lines give us what he will do out of anger. That means the first one, he will stop the river from flowing. A heavy water flowing, very fast flowing river will be stopped by his arrows. Sharaihi, by the arrows, the last word in the second line, Sharaihi, maybe you can show the Tamil version for people who are not comfortable with Sanskrit. So, Sharaihi, Apagayaha, Apaga meaning river, any river for that matter. You can take the perennial long flood going rivers like Ganges and so on. So Apagayaha. Apa means water. It's in plural. Therefore, Apaga is where copious flow of water is there in the river. So Apagayaha, Supurnayaha. When the river is full and it is in spate, then Rama could stop it by, rather reduce the speed. Vegam pariharet. Vegam pariharet. Vegam, the speed. So it will not be allowed to go fast. So pariharet, he will avoid this speed. He stopped the speed. Sharaihi, with his arrows. How come with his arrows? How come with one can stop the water from arrows, with the help of arrows? That is what we say, we cannot understand the greatness of the Lord. Mahatmyam, this greatness is not understood. How Rama will stop the speed of the water in floods by the arrows. Then, and the second achievement which we can, second miracle that he can perform is Nabhascha. Nabhascha, the whole sky. The sky in the sense space, ether, all the places. Nabhascha. Sky doesn't mean only the top portion of our head. No, top portion over our head. It's not that. So everything. Nabhascha meaning space. Every space. Api avasadayet. He will make it not, N-O-U-G-H-T, that is, he will not allow it to exist further. The whole sky, this whole space, along with the Tara, Graha and Nakshatra. Tara, you can say moon. So that also includes sun. So no sun will be there, no moon will be there, no planets, no other planets will be there, and no stars will be there. So all of them will be wiped out from the sky. The sky will be wiped out. The whole sky will be wiped out. So it will become nil. It will become zero. So Sadara Graha Nakshatra. So in Sanskrit, mathematical parlance, the sky is called zero. The sky is called zero. Akasha means zero in Sanskrit. Whereas in the same way, he will make it zero. There is no stars will be available, no planets will be available, no moon and sun. Just to have the words Satara Graha Nakshatram. Sa means with. So who is that great man? Asau Ramaha. This Rama. But if he brings down his anger and if somebody surrenders to him, what is that somebody? The earth. When the earth is suffering, the seethan theme, suffering, Mahim, the earth, if it is seethan theme, if it is suffering, then in the goddess of earth falls at the feet of Rama and seeks shelter. Then Shriman Ramaha, the prosperous Rama, the powerful Rama, will always lift it up. Uddharet. Shriman api uddharet mahi. So he will help, go to all help by redeeming the previous good situation in which the earth was in, and he will always save the earth. So if the anger subsides down because of Sharanagati. Otherwise, what will happen? Bitva velam samudrasya lokan aplaviyet ima. Normally, we get a picture in Shastras that at the time of great deluge, Mahapralayam, after a kalpa, that is 4 yugas end, we have got what we call Mahapralaya. That in the deluge time, we say that everywhere it is watery. There is always a watery grave for everything. So water everywhere. And therefore, so what will he do by anger? Iman Lokan, these worlds, all the creations that he did, Aplaviyet, will be drenched with, will be immersed by water. Water, only water. How? How does he do it? Bitva Velam Samudrasya. Now, we also have in Shastras the what you call the controls of the nature which Lord Almighty has in his hand. Namely, all the, for example, planets work by the time schedule, by the orders of the Lord. So they never transgress their duty. They never disobey the rules of Lord. That is how we have planets movement. And so also, the ocean does not transgress its limit of what we call the beach, the shore. The shore will not be traversed by the waters of the ocean. Even in what we call it by Japanese word tsunami or any storm, any hurricane, any tornado, no water will enter into the earth path. Already only 1/4 of the earth is full of what you call living place. Whereas the 3/4 of the earth is full of water. So this 3/4 part of water will occupy the 1/4 also, and it will be inundated by water, flood. So he will inundate all the verses, all the worlds by water, by breaking the shore of the ocean. We have, of course, we have named some oceans in English, and we have, according to Shastras, we have 7 oceans. So the 7 big oceans are there in the world. And those oceans will be flooding the earth with water. There will be no place to live in. So there are 3 negative miracles, and 1 is positive. When the earth goddess, the goddess of earth, surrenders to Rama, then he will save it at any cost. Whereas by arrows, he will stop the speed of the flooding river, and he will also inundate the entire universe with water by breaking the shore limit of the ocean. And he will also make the sky zero by removing all the planets, including the sun and the moon and also the stars. So this will be the what we call the extreme situation of anger in Rama. Now, of course, the point is here. We are all supposed to contain these 6 qualities: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, and Mada, and Matsarya. So one of them is Krodha, fury. We are not to get furious at any time on anything. And then Lord's fury is uncontrollable. Lord's anger is unimaginable. And that's so this difference between this and that. At least our anger can be controlled at some time or other. But by anger, we get a lot of complications in our human body, and therefore it is advisable that not to get angry, and it is advisable to be always smiling when our health will be good. So this is what we already know. So by of course seeing the Lord behave in different ways, we learn a lot of lessons from the character of the incarnation like Rama. And of course, there is there are 2 points again. This is to threaten us that we must have only one methodology, namely total surrender. And in fact, this is also indirect advice, like a wife advises the husband lovingly. And we say the kavyas, the works, the productions of the poets will be equal to a wife advising the husband lovingly. Kanta sammitataya upadesha yuje. That is the definition of any kavya. So that is generally, as we understand, the scriptures will be like masters ordering the servants. So Prabhu Samhita, they are called Prabhu Samhita. They are the tyrants, the Kodungol Achiyalan, we say in Tamil. So the ruler will always punish people if they do not follow his instructions. And therefore the other one is Puranam. Puranam, all the lores, ancient lores are like what we call friends, Sugrit Samhita. And whereas Ramayana, Mahabharata and all other later works are called Kanta Samhita. Kanta is a lover, not even the wife. The wife may be a lover, the lover may be the wife, but so both of them should be advising the husband only very lovingly. And Tamil words are there. Maha Yashasviyana Raman. Since Rama is very famous, popular, கோபித்துக் கொண்டு பராக்கிரமத்திற்கு முயன்றானால் அவனை ஒருவரும் எதிர்க்க முடியாது. Nobody can oppose Rama while he takes up his arrows and starts to fight. தன் பாணங்களால் ஜலம் நிறைந்த நதியின் பிரவாகத்தின் வேகத்தை தடுத்து விடுவான். He will stop the speed of the flooding river. சூரியன் முதலான கிரகங்கள், அஸ்வதி முதலான நட்சத்திரங்கள், we are talking about only 27 stars by name. மற்றுமுள்ள எண்ண முடியாத சிறிய நட்சத்திரங்கள், so all the small stars, இவைகளோடு கூடின ஆகாசத்தையும் சிதறி போம்படி அடித்து விடுவான். So he will make the sky absent. சீயோடு கூடின இந்த ராமன் முழுகி கொண்டிருக்கும் பூமியை மேலே தூக்கி விடுவான். I told you that the presence of the goddess nearby will always make him less angry, and he will become appeased in anger, and he will lift up the earth, how he did in Varaha Avatar. கோபம் கொண்டால் கரையை உடைத்து சமுத்திரத்தின் ஜலத்தால் உலகங்களெல்லாம் மூழ்கும்படி செய்து விடுவார். So he will immerse the entire creation under the water by breaking the shore of the ocean. So this is how we see. Now we understand that Lord is highly powerful, and therefore a powerful person must be surrendered. That's the meaning of this. Even now in our human daily life, we have a lot of what we call inabilities, incapabilities. We are not able to do what we want. And whenever we want to do anything, so we have to pray and pray. A lady was asking just a few minutes before the session that one of the discourse givers in Srirangam, he gave an advice. The Ashtakshara mantra should be recited once. That is enough. So Ashtakshara mantra japa can be done just once, he said. It is said. So the lady heard him and then called him today from Hosur, asking me whether it is one time recitation of Ashtakshara mantra is enough. I said it is not so. So don't take the advice very seriously. No, I compared it to what we call our recitation of Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names, by saying just 2 lines which Parvati asked Shiva. Kenopayena laguna Vishnor namasagastrakam pathyate pandite nityam srotam icchamyaham prabhu. Even the scholars daily say these 2 lines instead of saying the entire Vishnu Sahasranama. So Shiva answers, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sagasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanti. And we say just for joke or something, I think it's not very serious. So an anecdote, Parvati was hungry, not angry, but he was hungry. She was hungry on an Ekadashi day. And therefore she asked Shiva some easiest method of reciting all the 1,008 names of Lord Vishnu. And therefore Lord Shiva gave her the verse Sri Rama Rama Rameti. Some people say, stop with this Sri Rama Rama Rameti. You need not say Rame Rame Manorame Sagasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varaname. These are all words addressed to his wife, and therefore it is enough when we say Sri Rama Rama Rameti. I hope all of you know why we say Rama Rama 3 times. One of the scholars, very great scholars, said it is enough if you say only one time Rama. But when we say Rama, the letter Ra occurs as the second letter in the what we call vowels. Ya, Ra, La, Va. The position is number 2. Ya, Ra, La, Va. These are the 4 letters of vowels, rather semi-vowels. Semi-vowel, they are called semi-vowels. Ya, Ra, La, Va. And Ma, Rama, in word Rama, Ma becomes the 5th in position in the row called Pavarga. Pa, Pa, Ba, Bha, Ma. So in that row it becomes 5th. So now Rama meaning 2 into 5. 2 into 5 is 10. Again, if you say Rama, 2 into 5. Again, third time when you say 2 into 5. Now again, so these 3 Ramas will be 10 into 10 into 10, and therefore 1,000. So Rama, when you say that, so you are saying all the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So that is not, this is a mathematical calculation according to what you call Katapayadi Sankhya in Vedic mathematics, but it is not so. So we are not to say, so when we find time, we must find time to say Vishnu Sahasranamam. We must not stop with Sri Rama Rama Rama. In the same way, Ashtakshara Mantra Japa must be done according to one's own family preceptor, not by anybody else, not advised by anybody else. And according to our Ahovila Mattha Sampradaya, when we perform Sandhya Vandanam, Anushtanam in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening, we are supposed to recite the Ashtakshara Mantra equal to the number of the Gayatri Mantra which we recite. And then again, we are not to reduce the Gayatri Mantra Japa to a minimum. Some great mendicant said long ago, 10 Gayatri Japa is enough. And then we have some numbers like 28, 32, 54, and then 108, 1008, 10,008, 1,08,000, and so on. So it is not, nothing is enough. Nothing is enough. So we are supposed to do this recitation of Ashtakshara Mantra before we stand up for Upasthana Mantra. We say Uttame Shikhare Devi Bhumyam Parvatamurdhani Brahmanebhyo Hyanujnatam Gacchate Vyatara Sukham. So before we say this mantra, we have to recite all the number of Ashtakshara Mantra equal to the number of the Gayatri Mantra which we recite. So this is the practice. Minimum must be 108, we say. We don't find time also.
Ramanujadaya Padram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathāryam Vande Vedanta Detikam Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunajaline Srimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Gurave Namah. Vaditi Prashiro Bangha Panjana Parakramam Sriman Venkatanathaya Iram Vijayatam Sirondrudopul Tiruvengadamudayan Varundrajonna Paramozhiyul Orandrudari Amayado Taraniyil Varvarkum Vaneru Pomalavum Varvu
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.